We're on live stream. This is exciting. It's getting real. It's real.
I'm going to start admitting folks and right now. Yay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We'll get started in just a few minutes. We're so happy that you're all here.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the Artsfest 2021. It's so great to see everyone here. We're just gonna do a little introduction first and then get on with the night. Okay, so hi, I'm Anthony Marino. I'm a senior at Long Meadow High School,
And I'm Megan Pinter, a senior at West Springfield High School.
and we're the presidents of the Rachel's Table Teen Board, as well as your MCs for the night. We also want to introduce our awesome team board director, Rebecca Marmer, and Jody Falk, who's the Rachel's Table director. And Rebecca will be monitoring the chat on Zoom and YouTube if anyone else has questions. So.
In a typical year, we hold the Arts Fest at the Basketball Hall of Fame. So usually we hold a can drive for admissions, as well as a construction competition, a peanut butter and jelly making station, and a gallery walkthrough of our submitted art pieces.
Obviously, this year we were unable to host it in that way. However, we're so excited that we're all here and we're still raising awareness this year, just in a unique way.
Before starting tonight's event, we would love to talk to all of you about our teen board, our mission, and some upcoming events.
So the mission of the Rachel's Table Teen Board is to educate ourselves and others to learn about food insecurity and childhood hunger in our region and empower ourselves and others to make a difference.
And if you're not already part of the teen board and are interested in joining, we have monthly meetings, usually on a Sunday night at 7:30, and they last for about an hour. And we'll talk about a bunch of different upcoming events, as well as values and systemic issues.
Yes, and if you want to hear more, Rebecca will link our YouTube video in the chat that outlines what we do at the teen board.
So our very exciting upcoming event at the end of April or the beginning of May is where the teen board is going to be donating over 600 starter vegetable plants to some of our associated agencies in Springfield. So the vegetables were graciously donated by Garden's Dream Farm in Enfield, Connecticut. And Springfield is classified as a food desert, so them having access to growing their own produce will really make a difference.
And we also have the Kalika Milk program coming up in May, where the team board and like our directors and all that deliver cases of chocolate and vanilla milk to different agencies in the greater Springfield area.
So without further ado, let's begin. We would like to start off by thanking everyone who submitted artwork this year for the Arts Fest.
We had around 40 amazing submissions from people's ages like 11, younger to like 18 and up. We saw some phenomenal art pieces that really captured the theme that we were looking for, health and food insecurity. We're so grateful to every person who submitted art, and we all congratulate you on your amazing creativity. Although this might be like an award ceremony, it's also creating dialogue around like food insecurity and opening people's eyes on the issues in our community.
We want to especially thank Lucy Carvalho, UMass nursing professor, as well as her students Emma Mosqueda and Gerard Delmar, UMass nursing students, for all of their hard work on this event and their commitment to food justice work.
We also give special thanks to the Rachel's Table Advisory Board and the Harold Grinspoon Foundation for making like this event possible, as well as a lot of our local teachers who took part on this project during this already hectic time.
We really appreciate everyone who got involved. So thank you again to everyone who spread the word about the Arts Fest and or submitted artwork. And thank you for joining us tonight.
So first, we're going to hear from the UMass students, Emma and Gerard, alongside 3 of the Rachel's Table team board members who took part in this, Keely, Tasia, and Abby. And they put a presentation outlining food justice.
So Emma and Gerard, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Gerard, and today me and my classmate Emma are going to be talking about food justice. And we've been working with Rachel's Table and the Teen Board in collaborating and helping put this presentation together. So what is food justice? We define food justice as a view of the food system that views nutritious food as a human right. And with food justice, there's this idea of food sovereignty, which is the right to healthy and culturally appropriate food through ecological and sustainable methods. And we kind of made this presentation to look at the structural barriers to getting access to healthy food. And we stress the importance of bringing awareness to groups who have had a historical struggle gaining access to healthy foods related to ideas such as racism and discrimination.
So before we start the presentation, we just wanted to say that we're going to be outlining several groups that are at increased risk for food insecurity. However, this is not a reflection on the groups themselves, but more of the structural faults in society that's sort of perpetuating this food insecurity due to systemic discrimination and oppression against many communities in America. We have this increasing disparity in food security and health.
What is food justice to you?
To me, food justice is giving access to healthy and nutritious food for all.
What is food justice to me? Well, the fact that we're talking about food justice at all means that the food system, as are many systems we live and work in, is not just. There is a deep inequity in who has access to healthy food, to land, healthcare, clean air and water. Food is a part of that systemic inequality. All humans, as a right, should have access to healthy food now and in the future.
And to me, food justice means recognizing that widespread food insecurity is a result of a distribution problem, not a capacity problem.
Food justice to me is ensuring that everyone, regardless of race, ethnicity, or background, has equal access to food and doesn't go hungry.
I'm Keely, and food justice to me means that everyone has equal and easy access to foods that are healthy and sustainable, regardless of their socioeconomic status, where they live, or regardless of any of the identities they hold.
The United States imports and produces enough food to feed the whole country. So food just to me is the reallocation and accessibility of that produce, because right now it's not distributed fairly.
Food justice to me is providing healthy, nutritious, and affordable foods for the many food insecure families in our surrounding area.
To me, food justice is leveling the playing field to make sure everyone has ample access to healthy and affordable foods.
And food justice for me is if everyone everywhere had enough safe, fresh, healthy food to eat and enough safe water to drink.
Foods. I picture us achieving food justice by educating our community about the realities of food insecurity and teaching our peers how they can help.
I think the first step to achieving food justice is identifying those groups that are disproportionately affected by food insecurity and raising awareness.
We at Rachel's Table do our small part by reducing food waste that would normally go to landfill. So hopefully we are doing our part for the environment, as well as we give that food to humans. If it's still good food, we glean from gardens and we give food to those who might not have as easy access as we ourselves may have.
By radically changing the way in which we envision food distribution, ensuring that we guarantee it as a human right for all people within our nation and world. When we change our mindset in that way, we'll be able to give people the human rights and life-sustaining needs that we are all deserving of.
As far as achieving food justice, I think we need justice for the poor and low wealth people in this country. We have to raise the minimum wage for people to lift them out of poverty.
How do I see us achieving food justice? So to achieve food justice, first and foremost, we have to educate people. What is food justice and what is the current state of this in our communities? Second, we need to make it relevant and important. So why do we need to achieve this? And how will this make a difference in our own lives and the lives of those in our community?
And I think the only way to solve these problems is to fix it at the systemic level, because there are so many people who just can't afford food in general.
Okay, so the first group that we wanted to talk about to sort of bring some awareness to the issue of increasing food insecurity is the homeless. One of the reasons that they have higher risk is because they have a lot of competing needs like finding shelter, clothing, and medical care. So sometimes they can't prioritize food. It's also an issue that a lot of people who are homeless don't have storage space for food or appliances to prepare meals. And they have a lack of transportation, often lower income levels as well. And some ways that we can try to bridge this gap is increasing the amount of nutritious foods at food banks and food pantries, having homeless shelters with a lot of access to nutritious food, and increasing affordable housing for those who are homeless. Next slide.
So I'm going to be talking about the racial minorities. So on that graph on the right, we can see groups like Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans face food insecurity rates at almost double the national average. And in general, the risk factors for food insecurity are things such as poverty, unemployment, and incarceration. And racial ethnic minority groups are disproportionately affected by these risk factors. We see more people of color being put in jails, filing for unemployment, and below the poverty line. So how do we address these racial disparities with food insecurity? We can bring awareness to federally funded programs such as food stamps and WIC, increased opportunities for employment to combat the economic risk factors like poverty and unemployment. And as healthcare providers, like doctors and nurses, we should be properly screening for food insecurity when these individuals come in for health checkups. And then looking at the incarcerated population, families with incarcerated family members can experience economic stress when someone enters the prison system. So that's one less person to work and provide money and provide food for their family. And looking at the individual in the prison system itself, the meals provided aren't the healthiest foods, which can increase the risk for health complications. And looking at life after prison, it's really difficult for these individuals to find stable jobs, a place to live, and food just because of the stigma that surrounds being imprisoned. And this graph on the bottom just shows that point on the far right, that yellow point shows unemployment rates among formerly incarcerated individuals, which is around 27%. And that high point at the left shows the unemployment rates during the Great Depression, which is 25%. So you can just see how drastic and similar it is.
Another group is disabled individuals who are at increased risk for food insecurity because of lower income levels and higher risk for poverty, often due to workplace discrimination or just less availability of jobs. There is also a trend that food insecurity can worsen existing health issues that those with disabilities might suffer from if they can't adhere to a certain healthy diet because they can't afford that kind of food. Also, if an individual has functional limitations but yet aren't diagnosed with a disability, oftentimes they do not qualify for the same assistance programs as those with disabilities. So they can be a very vulnerable group because they can't get the help they need. And some ways that we can sort of help supplement that are Meals on Wheels to deliver food, and also transportation to food pantries.
Talking about the LGBT community, we see again just higher rates of food insecurity reported among these individuals compared to the national average. And individuals in this community who face food insecurity heavily rely on SNAP or food stamps and other community-based food assistance, such as food pantries and soup kitchens. And another important note is that sometimes these community programs are backed by religious organizations, and religious organizations have had a history, or some religious organizations have had a history to discriminate against LGBT communities. So I think that it's important that we approach this situation with a perspective of understanding and welcoming arms so that everyone can receive healthy food regardless of sexual orientation.
As well, immigrants to the US are disproportionately at risk for food insecurity. This is partially because during the first 5 years in the US, some adults are not eligible for assistance programs like Medicaid and SNAP. There's also this fear in the immigrant population that using food programs will negatively affect their immigration status. Migrant workers often don't have the proper facilities to cook meals because they're moving around so much for work. And those who are refugees often experience detrimental food shortages in refugee camps while they're waiting for asylum, and that can have a permanent effect on their health. And some ways to combat this are through making SNAP more available to immigrants, decreasing language barriers for getting to food assistance programs, increasing information about eligibility, and higher wages for these migrant workers. And this is just a graph that is sort of showing how employment in America has been affected since the pandemic started. As you can see, Black and Latino families are kind of bearing the brunt of unemployment at the moment. And this is really affecting their food insecurity. And some assistance programs that are really useful for helping supplement needs for families are WIC, which provides healthy foods to mothers and babies, as well as breastfeeding counseling and health screenings. SNAP programs, which provide monthly benefits for low-income families. The National School Lunch Program, which provides nutritious meals to kids for low cost or for free. And the Commodity Supplemental Food Program that provides foods to low-income elders. And so we just wanted to bring up the subject of what everyone can sort of do to get involved in their community. We have some really great local resources up here, as well. Some ideas for ways to get involved would be volunteering at local food banks or local food pantries, donating food or funds to these organizations, advocating for change in your community by contacting legislators to support some policies that can improve food insecurity for everyone. And even running a local food drive is a great option.
And some more things that you can do are starting a conversation and doing your own research. I think that it's important to go out into your community, talk to your friends, family, and neighbors to see what their thoughts are on food insecurity and just spark conversation to help bring awareness to the situation. And doing your own research, I think that Emma and I provided a lot of information to you guys today, but I also think that it's important to look at your own numbers, look at numbers within your community to help formulate your own thoughts and opinions on food justice and what food justice really means to you. And then just a quick shout out to Rachel's Table. Like it was really fun and working with you guys, it was a really good experience. And I think that Emma and I have learned a lot from you guys, and we just wanted to thank you. And that's our presentation.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Emma and Gerard. If you can do the little reactions as a clap or give them a thumbs up or something, that was awesome. And also a big thank you to Keely, Tasia, and Abby. I know they all worked hard on the video and helped out with the presentation, so special thanks to you. And you all did an amazing job educating us about food justice and how we can help.
So next up, we have our three amazing judges who help decide the winners of the submitted artwork.
Our three judges are Massachusetts House Representative Brian Ash, food systems activist Liz Ogilvie, and local artist Haya Heller. We will put their websites and more information about the judges in the chat if you would like to learn more about them.
And first up, I believe we have Brian Ash, who will be speaking and presenting the under 13 age group category and its winner.
How you doing, everybody? Good to see everybody. First, I just have to start off by saying I was so impressed with all of the artwork, with the stories that everybody told, how they told them. as well as the creativity, either between drawing or using different mediums. I was extremely impressed with everything that was done on there. For me, I just wanted to say personally, I've been a state rep for 13 years now. Excuse me, but growing up, and I've told Jody this before, you know, we were on welfare when I was a kid. My parents were divorced, and I can remember many times not having food on our table and not having the, you know, food that we needed, and feeling the shame that came with it, not wanting to have people come over my house, not wanting to have my friends from school come over the house because I was embarrassed about not having food, about not having things in place. And I can remember being hungry. And then as time went on, you know, eventually things changed for me, thank God. And, you know, now we do much better. You know, my wife and I have jobs, we have children, and we have plenty of food on the table. But I've never forgotten where I came from. And I've never forgotten the feeling that I had not having food. So when I got involved with this, or in the past, just being involved with Rachel's Table or other things, it always takes me back to being a child. And it always reminds me how difficult it is, and how such a stigma comes over people. And it's embarrassing because nobody wants to say, well, my mom or my dad doesn't have any money, we can't afford food, or we're on welfare, we have to get food stamps. So to have you guys involved at such an early age is it really is incredible. And I appreciate everything you're doing and trying to get the message out there and let other people know about that. That being said, now I was so impressed. This group, it was so cool. There were two different types of artwork, and they all had these great messages. And the winner, and I apologize if I don't say your last name right, Brianna Maines, is that right? Anybody give me a Maines? Anyone help me? All right, we'll go with that. But I was really impressed, just the story you were trying to tell here, with the flowers and just the straight lines and using the bones, seeing through here. It was really incredible, and it was dark, but in a good way, because you almost need to hear that, because you need to see that, because you have to understand the impact of it. And I really appreciated this. And I was impressed too. Now, I'm not an art major, never have been or anything, but my wife, art major, she went to school for it. She does it for a living. Out of everybody I picked, out of the 4 I picked in the older one and the 2 I picked in this, she picked 5 out of 6 of the same ones I picked. So I felt I was in good company there. But very, very impressive work here. It tells a great story. And I'm just so impressed. And I just want to thank you, Brianna, for the great work you did here and for putting the time and effort in, as well as congratulations to everybody who put artwork in. Fantastic job, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. And just a huge congrats to Brianna. Amazing work, and all the other 13 and under people who submitted work. Next, I believe we have Liz. However, I don't think she's here tonight. So Rebecca is going to be speaking and presenting the 14 to 18 age group.
Hi, everybody. I just want to thank you all so much for being here. Everybody has said, the art that was submitted this year to the Artsfest was all just so incredible, and it made me feel so excited that so many folks were interested in putting the time in, and the energy in. So thank you so much. So I will be presenting the 14 to 18 category. We had 28 submissions or something crazy like that. So really each piece brought just the most wonderful perspectives on food insecurity and food justice and hope, and the despair also that can be related to food insecurity. And as we were judging and as the judges were providing their feedback, it just prompted such wonderful conversation as well about food insecurity and potential solutions. So thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So So the 14 to 18 category winner is, I also might really say this name wrong and I deeply apologize. Angelica, I'm not even gonna try to say your last name, but I'll just say Angelica, your piece is incredibly gorgeous. One of our judges who is going to speak next, Kaya, said, hands are the hardest thing to draw in the world. And the fact that you were able to draw them so accurately and beautifully is incredible. Just like your color choice, the desperation in the hands movement, and just like everything about this is just super powerful. And we really, really enjoyed being able to see it and interpret it. And it really prompted a lot of dialogue. So thank you so much. Amazing work to all. So thank you.
Again, if we can give a little round of applause or something in the chat. That's an amazing art piece. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for presenting the 14 to 18 age group winner. So before we introduce our last honorable mentions, I would like to give Brianna the opportunity to speak. I think I sent a little thing to unmute.
Yeah, sorry about that. We couldn't talk. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was amazing. I think it was like a unanimous decision that your artwork was just amazing. So congratulations. And I don't believe Angie is here tonight, but again, another congratulations to her. So finally, we're going to have Haya Heller, who will be speaking about and presenting the honorable mentions for each age group.
I think I'm unmuted now. I want to thank
Hold on, I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now? Okay. I want to thank everybody at Rachel's Table for creating this amazing event. I think there's nothing better than food activism and art political activism. Putting them together is just wonderful. So I was just so honored to be part of this and inspired. And I'm an artist, and also I'm a political activist who's done a lot of work on food. And so I thought, well, what could I add to this conversation? And I thought I could tell a little mini something about the term food sovereignty. That I worked for 11 years studying a group of family farmers, a union of family farmers in France called the Peasants Confederation. And they're part of an international network of family farmers and smallholders who didn't want to use the term sustainable agriculture. That was really like big in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, because they felt like farming should not just be about survival and sustaining and not destroying the planet. And they didn't like that term, so they came up with the term food sovereignty. And it was this NGO that still exists called La Via Campesina. It's an international, amazing radical farmers union. And their term, they coined the term in the early mid 90s and then just went global. And so I just think it's so cool. I noticed that in some of the copy tonight, people using the word food sovereignty, and what it really meant for them was, we don't want to just have food that allows us to survive, but we want to actually be able to have decision-making power, sovereignty over policy, agricultural policy that gives people access to land and to decide what kind of foods they want to grow and are appropriate for their culture and their economy. And so it's really about being empowered politically to grow the food that makes sense to you. So I wanted to say that as a little bit of history. And should I switch to talking about the honorable mentions now? Okay. Are you going to show them?
Yes, I will show them. So
wonderful. I will comment. I also loved every single piece of art that I saw. I thought I was blown away that people in these age groups was making this art. The amount of skill was kind of insane. And I love that there's both graphic art and there's drawing and painting, I was blown away. So if you got in the honorable mentions, you beat out a lot of really, really feisty competition. Everybody was really, really strong. So I love this. I love it. There's an anime feeling to this. And I love that you can tell that we're in a pandemic. You know, anime and cartoon does this so well, tells you where and when and how. And the mask, you know, you're in a pandemic and you know she's on the street because she has a leash with her dog. She's not at home. I love that you don't know where she is because she could be anywhere. And I love that she's thinking and there's these thought sparks. And she's dreaming of freaking food. And I love that there's an animal there because it really shines a light on the problem of how pets and animals generally are suffering during this pandemic along with their people to find food. I love this piece. I love this piece too. I love this. The skill level here with the drawing is kind of insane. The treatment of the hands again is unbelievable, and the treatment of the vegetables is phenomenal. I love that this artist forces the viewer to look right in that person's eye, and they're behind this metal industrial kind of fence that really just shows alienation from the food supply, alienation from, you know, abundance. And I love that it's black and white. You know, a lot of people made really good use of black and white. I love that it's really, it's evocative, emotional, political art about people needing good food, and the hook just being able to willy-nilly just pull it away. It kind of, it's gut-wrenching in a very good way. I love this one too. You know, graphic art, political graphic art is really hard to do because it has to tell a story. And I love that the writing is right in the middle and it really pops and you can read it easily. The message is so clear and the use of color is phenomenal. The red, the yellow, the and the green. I you know, just to be able to show access and inaccess or lack of access graphically like this is really hard to do well. And Hayden does it really, really well. The girl, you see the back of her, so she could be anyone. And I like that she's reaching, and you see just, you know, this plaintive reach for sustenance. And then always, as we know, in food stratification, the good foods on the higher shelves kind of symbolizing how hard it is for people to access good food, when instead they can get filled up with really crappy calories that don't really sustain people. This is a really powerful piece. And again, you know, it's done well when it looks easy in its simplicity and boldness. This is a great piece. And lastly, I love this one also because, again, graphic art, this artist makes the viewer zero right in, and the first thing you see is this list. And you have to empathize with this person who's in this supermarket, who's in this predicament, where here's my list, here's my limited amount of cash, and here's all I have to buy. And the first thing was baby formula, which is so brilliantly thought out, and the milk, which, you know, sort of symbolizes, you know, mothers feeding their children. And I love how you just, the cart is like, looks like this empty, dark cage, and it's going down this trajectory where everything's blurred out and dark. And what you really see is the powerfulness, you know, the white sort of list and the money and the milk. And it's just, it packs a really hard message. And again, really well executed graphic art is difficult to do. And Ashley, you did it. You know, I got right in there and I'm like, holy moly, you know, we have a problem here. And it, you know, usually a supermarket is this colorful place. And Ashley made us really look at it in black and white. Nope, this is where it is. This is what's going on. And we're in trouble. And I love that. Really, really well done.
Thank you so much to all of our judges who took place. You guys are awesome, and thank you for being here tonight and being part of the Arts Fest, because definitely this would not be possible without all of you. So.
And Rebecca will be in touch with all of the winners and the honorable mentions about their prizes via email. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And again, we just want to thank everyone who submitted artwork. You all deserve so much credit for spreading awareness about this important cause.
And before like closing out this event tonight, we just wanted to give like one more special award to someone. So.
For the past 2 years, Wynn Dromey has been an amazing member and officer of the teen board. Unfortunately, she couldn't come tonight. However, we still wanted to recognize her for her great work that she's done for the teen board.
So up here is Wynn actually submitted her own work for this event, and she's also amazing enough to make us our own little sticker, teen board logo, and all that. So Wynn is receiving the Rachel's Table Art Influence Award. Brand new award this year, but definitely well deserved.
We could do a little, clap or heart for Wynn. I know she would love to be here. So I believe that concludes our event for tonight. So again, we just want to thank everyone who showed up, especially our speakers, Emma Mosqueda, Gerard Delmar, Brian Ash, and Haya Heller, as well as all the teen board officers, members, and Rebecca and Jody for making this possible.
Yeah, this event wouldn't have been possible without all of your outreach, and we thank all of you for being a part of this. And if someone who isn't already part of the teen board is interested in joining, you can either ask me or Megan or email Rebecca or stay after with us because we'll be on for a few minutes and we'll be in touch with you soon.
Yes, and the more people who know about food insecurity and food justice, the better our solutions will be.
So thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, teen board. Awesome teen board directors, teen board members. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Have a great evening. Bye, everybody.
Good night. Thank you and congratulations.
Bye, Lucy.
Thank you, Haya. Thank you, Brian.
Yay. Woo.
That was awesome.
Megan and Anthony, you were amazing.
You rock, you rock.
Thank you
so much. You did such a good job.
And Judy Ingus, you're on there. I want